me, dear, do you happen to have an extra pen?
I beg your pardon.
I said, do you happen to have an extra pen? This one's been used to pick walnuts or something.
I'm sorry. No, I don't. But I have a pencil at the bar, if that would help you.
Thanks. I'll get just as good results with a pencil. Oh, a very neat pencil, but definitely. Dorian Westmore. Is that you or the previous owner?
Oh, I came right, honestly. Dorian Westmore is my name.
Get it?
Oh, just a slight one.
Let me give you an aspirin. I have some in my purse. Keep the box. There's only one tablet.
Oh, but I can't take your last one.
Oh, go on. Take it. I'm dishing out a headache. Not expecting one.
Thank you. I'll keep it until I find a drinking fountain.
I could do with a lot less service. I beg Madam's pardon. Thanks for the pencil, dearie. That dimwit maid should be turned out to pasture.
All right, you guys, cut it out. I don't need any rehearsal. Turn it on before I take a poke at you.
Selection of the jury has been completed, and the trial of Dorian Westmore for the murder of her uncle, W.J. Sherrod, will start tomorrow. The case has aroused wide interest because of the social prominence of the people involved and the unusual defense offered by the accused. Miss Westmore claims that the fatal aspirin tablet was given to her by a strange woman in the writing room of Fabian's department store, but she can think of no one who would have any incentive to poison her. Her attorney, N.T. Vickers, may have a difficult time building a defense on that foundation.
Turn it off.
Well, the next meeting of the Big Four in Paris promises...
In Dorian's last letter, she told me about that woman. Even described the clothes she was wearing. Here, take a look at that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Take charge, Joe. I'm leaving.
Sure, sure.
Smile at me, darling, while I read your letter.
David, darling, I've worn myself out shopping, and while I rest, I can't think of anything better to do than visit with you. David, you're so very dear to me, and I love you very, very much. The yellow half of my writing desk is occupied by a most overwhelming blonde, the sort who would pay $6 for black market nylons and then not bother to straighten the seam. She has an expensive fur coat and is carrying a black cloth bag with the gold initials IMP. That spells imp, doesn't it? But I can't think of anything less impish unless it would be the Statue of Liberty. And she's wearing the most beautiful pin I ever saw. It looks like a flower encrusted with diamonds. IMP, the overwhelming blonde, has just departed, very much annoyed with a maid for peeking over her shoulder at the note she was writing, probably arranging a rendezvous. I guess that's how maids get their gossip. Uncle Walter announced that he would honor my partner with his presence at dinner this evening, which means another quarrel about me throwing my life away on you. Why do rich uncles believe they have the right to live another person's life just because they are rich uncles? Oh, darling, if he could only know as I do how really wonderful you are, he would be so happy that my future was in such safe hands.
You gander at the paper. You never read anything but the track entries.
Nothing else is worth reading.
Some doll poisoned a rich uncle. Now, why haven't I got a rich uncle poison?
Maybe you're lucky you haven't. They tell me that antique chair they sit you in ain't very comfortable.
Walter Sherrard of Logansport died immediately after taking an aspirin tablet his niece, Dorian Westmore, admits having given him.
Who cares? How can I concentrate on picking a winner with you jabbering like that?
It won't hurt you to know there's people as well as horses in the world. Miss Westmore told the police a fantastic story of having been given the fatal aspirin tablet by an overdressed blonde woman on the mezzanine floor of Fabian's department store. Dorian Westmore. That's the doll who loaned me your pencil. I did give her an aspirin tablet.
Okay, maybe she had a headache. Hey, how come you're carrying poison aspirin around with you? Are you waiting for me to get a headache?
Oh, you dope. That poison was meant for me. Noah's caught up with me somehow. He got into the apartment and planted that poison. Bill, I'm scared stiff he'll kill me.
What are you going to do about it?
I'm getting out of here, but fast. He made one try and missed, but he won't stop at that.
You're not going to let that doll take that murder rap, are you?
That's her worry. I'm not getting mixed up in it. Boy, I'll be so far out of sight they won't be able to find me with radar. Bill, who are you calling?
Hello? This is Bill Redding. I want, 20 across the board on shoe fly in the 3rd at Belmont. Okay, Herman, so I am a sucker. Since when don't you like sucker money?
Uncle Walter complained of a headache, so I gave him the aspirin tablet I had in my purse. It was given to me by a stranger, a blonde woman who sat opposite me in the writing room at Fabian's department store. My headache disappeared before I left the mezzanine, and so I forgot all about the aspirin tablet until Uncle Walter arrived at my apartment suffering from a headache.
Sure, I'm the maid on the mezzanine at Fabian's. I'm there all the time, brushing up. I remember seeing the prisoner, Miss Westmore, writing a letter, but she was all alone. There was no one at the other desk facing her. She finished her letter and left.
I was W.J. Sherrod's attorney for a number of years, and I know for a fact that he was emphatically opposed to a marriage his niece contemplated. He threatened, in my presence, to disinherit her if she persisted in disregarding his wishes in the matter. I can further state
connection therewith, including reasonable attorney's fees.
Mr. Vickers?
That's right. What can I do for you?
My name is Kane. David Kane. I understand you were Miss Westmore's attorney.
Well, I offered my services. The case interested me.
More than interests me, she and I were engaged to be married.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. That'll be all for the present. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I did everything possible to save her, but that story about the blonde woman had a bad effect on the jury. It was too fantastic.
That story was true.
But the maid had
The
failed.
maid lied. Here's evidence to prove it. Dorian, that woman, when she was writing that letter, she described her perfectly. Even the bag she was carrying and the pin she was wearing.
Have you shown this to the police?
I showed it to Inspector Brady of the Homicide Bureau, but he wasn't very impressed.
Why not?
Well, he promised to investigate, but he seems convinced that Dorian wrote that letter as an attempt to establish an alibi, not expecting to have it upset by the testimony of the maid. I can think of no logical reason why the maid should lie. But I'm going to find out why she lied and make her tell the truth.
Well, keep in touch with me and don't hesitate if there's anything that I can do. There's no doubt in my mind about this letter being the truth.
Thanks, Mr. Vickers. The boost helps after the letdown I got from Inspector Brady. I'll get the proof, and you take care of the legal end.
You can depend on that. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Well, hello, honey. I saw you when I came in. I was just thinking about you.
Maybe I should slap your face.
Maybe. I can think of a lot better ideas.
Such as?
Oh, you and me hitting the high spots. But you look swell in a mink coat.
Maybe I don't like mink coats.
Okay. It was just an idea. What time do you get on?
6 o'clock.
I might be hanging around about that time. I'd hate to eat dinner alone.
If you're hanging around, I may see you. Thanks for the swell evening, David. We sure hit the high spot.
No, you're not brushing me off now. We've still got a bottle of unfinished business.
That being the case, maybe you'd better come on in. Make yourself at home and give a lady a chance to fix her face.
Thanks, honey.
Oh, you might mix a drink while you're waiting. Don't try to finish that unfinished business all by yourself.
Don't worry, you'll be in at the finish.
Remember, that's a promise. You'll find everything you need in the kitchen. And don't be shocked if you see a few dirty dishes.
It takes more than a dirty dish to shock me. It seems to me you could find something better to do than sweeping up cigarette butts at Fabian.
Girl can do all right on that job if she keeps her eyes open. I've run into a payoff now and then.
That's what I figured.
You got a nerve walking to a lady's bedroom?
Have I? Where'd you get that pin?
Just a cheap thing I picked up at Fabian's.
Yeah? Cheap at $1,000.
$1,000? What do you think I am, a millionaire?
You wouldn't care to hear what I think you are. Give me that pin.
I thought you were okay. But you turn out to be nothing but a cheap stick-up guy.
You stole that pin from the blonde at Fabian's. The one you said wasn't there.
You a cop.
Are you going to give me that pin, or do I have to take it away from you? This is the pen Dorian described in her letter. Proof that you lied on the witness stand.
What are you going to do?
Persuade you to tell the truth.
You wouldn't murder me. You wouldn't dare.
No, but I am going to cut every hair off of your head, unless you tell me the truth. I'll start talking. Was there a blonde at the writing desk facing Dorian Westmore?
Yes.
I know you peeked over her shoulder. You make a practice of that. What was she writing?
She was blackmailing a guy who murdered a girl named Joyce Revere 3 years ago.
What address did she give for the payoff?
Post office box. Station A, box 518.
Whom was she blackmailing?
I can't tell you that. He'd kill me. He said he would.
Oh, you were in touch with him then?
Yes. I thought I'd get in on the gravy.
Stay where you are.
About time you showed signs of life. Your head must be made out of concrete. Somebody broke a whiskey bottle on it.
What happened? Did the roof fall in? Oh, Brady. I don't know how you happen to be here, but I'm glad you are. Anna Nelson admitted she lied on the witness stand. There was a blonde at the writing desk facing Dorian.
Anna Nelson will never change her testimony now.
What?
She was murdered.
Brady, you've got to believe me. Anna Nelson admitted she lied on the witness stand.
It's not what I believe. It's what I can prove that counts. What do you know about this murder?
I don't know anything. My only hope was to make Anna Nelson tell the truth. I thought I heard a noise in this room and came out to investigate. Next thing I knew, something seemed to explode inside of my head. I didn't see who it was.
Mm-hmm. From the way things stack up, you're in the clear. But don't leave town.
You should know I wouldn't leave town until Dorian is free.
Looks like a crime of passion. Jealous boyfriend. Check that angle.
Brady, you remember that pin Dorian described in her letter?
Yes, I remember it. What about it?
Anna Nelson had it on her. She stole it from the blonde she said wasn't there, and I took it from her. Here, I'll show you. It's gone. Whoever slugged me must have gone through my pockets.
You tell me a lot of things with nothing to back 'em up. That's no good.
I heard what you told Brady. I think you got a story. How about letting me have it?
Sure, I've got a story, but no one will believe it.
Well, come on, give. What can you lose?
Don't you pencil pushers try to be funny and ride me.
Why, of course not, Inspector. I'll say you're carrying on your investigation in your usual astute manner.
That's better.
That's the best. How about a picture? I've never known you to be camera shy.
Okay.
All right, John. Stand up there, Inspector. You can use a little publicity. Now, just smile. Thank you, Brady. Okay, John. Come on, let's have it.
Well, you remember the testimony given at the trial of Dorian Westmore. My only hope is to make Anna Nelson tell the truth. And I learned that there actually was a mysterious blonde writing a blackmail letter to a man who supposedly murdered Joyce Revere 3 years ago.
Joyce. I remember that case. She was a nightclub entertainer. Brady never did find the murderer.
I can't solve every crime.
If Anna Nelson's murdered, it looks like I've wound up in a blind alley. Dorian's life depends on me finding a blonde blackmailer. And the odds are brutal.
Brother, you can sure use a helping hand. And I've got one that's not busy right now.
Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to talk to someone who doesn't think I'm lying or crazy. I think I'll sit down here a while. Thanks for going out of your way and being so helpful.
Oh, I'll admit that the other night I had in mind that you were a good copy. And I never overlook a chance to needle Brady.
But that isn't all. You've convinced me that that letter wasn't written by a girl planning a murder. Quoting Inspector Brady, that letter with nothing to back it up is no good. Oh, forget about Brady. Keep your chin up. We'll get a break. I'll see you later. So long, Gary.
Excuse me, pal. Got a match?
Mm-hmm. Cigarette? No, thanks.
Boy, did I make myself a good win. Do you play the horses?
Nope, I haven't got time.
Time? It don't take no time. All you gotta do is scratch sheet and figure what each horse has done. Figure the jockeys, the weight, the condition of the track. It's a lot of fun.
You call that fun?
Uh-huh. But I'll bet I bought a couple of them hay burners before I made a good win. You know, horses are just like women. You dope them out scientific, and then they let you down, run out of the money. The only difference is that horses can't talk.
There's one thing I like about a horse.
Yeah, the banktails are okay. I like them. About dames, take my girl, Inez. Lives might be different, I don't know. But everything will be love and kisses, and I'll be going along thinking I'm in the money when all of a sudden, boom, I'm in the doghouse.
Excuse me, I think I've got to see a man about something or other.
Okay, so you don't want to be sociable.
What's the idea? I ain't half finished.
You're fine company. You visit me and don't do anything but sit around and dope races. You should live in a stable.
I don't like horses that much.
Well, here's something I don't like. Read that. That Nelson dame was the one who stole my pen. Yeah, I know she read the note I was writing, too. The question is, how much did she spill? And another thing, I don't like that crack about the possibility of her being murdered to keep her from talking. Well, if I'm ever tied into this thing now, they might try to pin that murder on me.
Hey! If they pin anything on you, I might pin it up to my neck. Did you do it?
I did not. Are you thinking of taking a powder?
No, I just want to know what the score was. That mug Dave Kane sure stirred up a fine mess. He looks familiar. Seems like I've seen him someplace before.
Where did you see him? Snooping around here?
I don't know if I ever saw him. If I did, I don't know where it was.
You're a big help. How does he figure into this case anyhow? Hey, he might be private investigator. I'd sure feel better if he was out of the way. I need a drink.
It was a tough break that woman was murdered when her confession would have cleared Dorian.
I can imagine how you felt.
I doubt if anyone could imagine how I felt. But it's all clear enough. The blonde was a blackmailer and would find it difficult to explain possession of a poisoned aspirin tablet. Anna Nelson stole a valuable pin and thought she could cut in on some blackmail of her own.
But you don't know who the blonde was blackmailing.
No, that would have given me something to work on. But she was murdered before I could make her tell me who it was. Inspector Brady is sold on the idea that she was murdered by a jealous boyfriend. But I'm convinced that she was murdered by the same man who murdered Joyce Revere.
Joyce Revere? What's her connection with all this?
The blonde has evidence that will convict some man of that murder. And he was paying her blackmail to keep her quiet.
Well, you are beginning to learn things. If you can locate this blonde and the police put on pressure, some man's going to find himself in a very dangerous position.
Why should I care what happens to him?
Of course. Why should you? I'm as eager as you to find this blonde blackmailer. It's vitally important.
Oh, Candy told me I'd find you here. Before I get set, if I get good news for you. Well, come on and give. I could use some good news. I checked all the jewelry stores about that pin you described. It was sold to, Inez Marie Pope. Inez Marie Polk. IMP. Those are the initials Dorian said were on the purse. This is the break I've been praying for.
You must rate a priority. Prayers are seldom answered so promptly.
I'll call Brady and tell him to meet us there.
I wouldn't advise calling Brady until you have definite proof. He's not sympathetic to this angle of the case.
Maybe you're right. I'll get the proof and hand it to him on a silver platter.
Yeah, then you can read about it in the morning paper.
That's a very good idea, and that'll put Brady on a spot where he'll have to act, whether he wants to or not.
Why? Do you think he might not want that blonde hauled into court?
Possible. He hasn't been very cooperative, has he?
No, he hasn't. But I thought it was just plain bullheadedness.
That could be it. I know nothing positive to the contrary.
I'll take no chances. I'll tell him nothing until I wrap it up. Come on, we got a date with the blonde at the Lindstrom Apartments.
Well, it was all very mysterious. She suddenly moved out without rhyme or reason, as far as I know. She hadn't complained about anything, and her rent was paid up for 3 weeks more.
That makes it tough. She must have been badly scared.
There was some dangerous character mixed up with it somewhere. I don't suppose she left any forwarding address.
Well, certainly not. She didn't tell me she was going to move. She simply packed her personal belongings and vanished. She even left some of her stuff behind.
You mind if we look around?
Well, I guess that'll be quite all right, but I don't want to become involved in any controversy.
Now, just take it easy, Junior. Just take it easy.
Well, gentlemen, I've had tenants take many different things when they left, but this is the first time in my experience that I've had one walk off with an ice cube tray from a refrigerator.
An ice tray? That's a funny thing for anyone to steal.
The same thought occurred to me.
She left in a hurry, all right. A lot of stuff in there, but nothing that does us any good. I gotta beat it back to the office. You coming?
No, I think I'll stick around here a while.
Okay. I'm sorry, it turned out to be a dud. When it's too late, that's all. We won't give up, though. I'll keep in touch with you.
Well, we haven't very much to go on so far. She must have been playing the races.
No, it was a friend. He came here very frequently, insisted on giving me tips on sure winners, but his confidence in his horses was seldom justified.
What was his name?
Bill something or other.
Come on, man. It's important.
Well, I didn't try to remember, but I think it was Bill Redding, and he did his business with a bookmaker named Herman.
Junior, I could kiss you for that.
Oh, my wife wouldn't like that.
Here's a number. This might be it.
Well, Herman, what do you got that's good?
You, for one thing.
Hello.
Hello. Herman?
Where did the shot come from?
Well, that's the first time I ever had anyone try to shoot me over the telephone.
I told you I refuse to become involved in any controversy.
What are you squawking about? That shot was for me.
I know, but it had a terrible effect on my nerves. I detest violence. Please call the police. Do something.
Quiet down.
Call the police.
You people better stick around. The police will want to ask some questions.
I think this happened at the Lindstrom.
Hello, police department? There's been an attempted murder at the Lindstrom Apartments. Yeah, this is David Kane.
One side, please. All right. Who shot who and why?
Somebody tried to shoot me. They forgot to tell me why.
Oh. It's you again, huh?
I try to keep in circulation.
He's the guy. He came in here with a man that said he was a newspaper reporter, and he asked a lot of questions about former tenants.
It was a blonde, Junior.
Yeah? If you start chasing every blonde in town, you might get hurt.
Okay, so I might get hurt. But I'm still chasing a blonde.
Please do something. Don't just stand there. Call the police.
I am the police. What am I supposed to do? No one was shot. Nobody heard anybody doing any shooting.
If there's any doubt in your mind about there being a shooting, here's the bullhole.
Wait, you see what I mean? You see what I mean?
Quiet. Okay. I'll investigate. But you better cut out that amateur sleuthing. You might end up on a slab. I want all your names. I want to know if you saw anybody acting suspicious.
We don't know
didn't have
anything
one at
about
a
it.
time, one at a time. I'll start with you.
My name is Sally.
Oh, David. It's all been like a horrible nightmare. It seems as if I must wake up and find it only a dream.
I know, darling. I felt the same way. It's something that just couldn't happen. And the worst part of it is someone is trying to prevent me from finding the woman who could prove your innocence.
Who would do that? I've never harmed anyone.
You just happen to be an innocent bystander. What happens to you doesn't matter to this person one way or another. I found out that she was being paid blackmail by some man to cover up a murder he'd committed. He's afraid to have her questioned by the police.
You sent word that you had some information about her.
Yes, I received an anonymous letter. It may have been written by some crank with a perverted sense of humor. I don't know.
Let me see it, Jim. I can put you in contact with the blonde who refused to appear at your trial and testify for you. I know where she's hiding out. I have a reason for not wanting anyone to know about my part in this. I've been reading in the paper about your friend David King, and if he will follow instructions, I'll give you a break. This doesn't sound like a crank letter.
I couldn't help feeling hopeful, although I know there are people cruel enough to play that sort of a hope.
What are the instructions you're to follow?
They're very simple. Darling, keep your chin up. Even if this letter leads me on a wild goose chase, I still have another angle. It may take a little longer, but I know it'll work out.
I'm sure it will, David.
Our time's up. We'll have to go.
Mr. Vickers, you've been very kind. I'm grateful to you.
You've little cause to be grateful. I wish I could have done more for you.
Goodbye, David.
You said you had another angle in case the anonymous letter proved worthless.
Yes, I have. The blonde has a steady boyfriend named Bill Redding. He plays the races constantly and does his betting with a bookmaker named Herman.
And the bookmaker named Herman so's to find a man named Bill Redding so's to find a blonde girlfriend. That's a rather uncertain thread on which to hang much hope.
Uncertain or not, I still have it in reserve if the letter proves to be a hoax.
I'm sure you'll find that letter was not meant as a joke.
Well, I'll soon find out one way or another. She must be awfully frightened to hide out in a mountain cabin. Well, you can let me out here. I hope I'll get the evidence we need. You can carry the ball from there.
You can count on that. Detective Agency? This is Oliver Vickers, attorney. I want you to locate for me a bookmaker named Herman. I don't know his last name. And step on it. I want fast action.
What do you want?
I want to see Inez Marie Polk.
Come in. Maybe that can be arranged.
Where is she?
Oh, she's around. We'll have a little talk before you see her.
What do you want to talk about?
Money.
You mean you want to pay her?
That's right. You catch on fast. Brother, I'm sticking my neck out by letting you contact that blonde. A certain party won't like the idea. And she's not very happy about it herself.
Oh, I see. Well, a girl's life depends on me finding that woman. I'll pay what I can, but I don't happen to have very much on me right now.
How much you got?
$200.
That's okay. She's in there. You can talk to her.
Oh, maybe you'd better introduce me. You see, I don't happen to know the young lady.
All right. Go ahead.
Answer that phone and don't say anything but hello.
Hello? It took you long enough to answer that phone. What's the matter?
Tell him we were busy, but it's okay now.
We were busy, but it's okay now.
You sound out of breath. Did you take care of the job?
Tell him he put up a fight, but it's all taken care of.
He put up a fight, but it's all taken care of.
Good work. I knew he'd be a sucker and fall for that letter. Come on back to town, and I'll give you the balance of your dough.
Looks like I owe Vickers quite a debt. Well, I won't keep him waiting. Go get in that chair.
We located that bookmaker, Herman, and believe...
Fine.
Say, that's a piker outfit. I could put you in touch with a real...
Now, never mind that. Just give me the address.
Okay. Only wanted to do you a favor, that's all.
626 West 72nd.
Information, please. Information? Police business. I want the address of the phone number, West 8463. Yes, ma'am. Be patient, boys. I'll send a highway patrol up here to keep you company. Hello? Thanks. Take it easy, boys.
And that was supposed to be $500 of easy dough.
If that was easy money, I don't want to make any the hard way.
Pays $4.50 to win, $3.60 to place, and $3.10 to show. Pretty Mary pays $7.90 to place, $5.80 to show. Baby Doll, $3.80 to show.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Bill, what have you been up to?
What makes you think I've been up to anything?
There's a guy in here inquiring about you. Wanted to know where you hung out and what you look like.
Maybe he wants my expert advice on the races.
No one's that crazy. Got a telegram for Bill Redding.
That's me.
Thanks.
Hey, I don't get this.
What is it?
It's a telegram from Inez telling me to get up there as fast as I can.
Why didn't she phone you?
She hasn't got a phone since she moved to the regional apartments.
She could have used a payphone, couldn't she?
Maybe she got another reason. I don't know.
I don't either.
I better get up there and see what the score is.
Did you deliver the telegram?
Yes, sir.
Well, stick around and point him out to me.
That's him.
Okay, son, thanks. You'd make a good counter-spy agent.
Gee, thanks.
Idea leaning on that bell.
Here I am. What's wrong?
What do you mean, what's wrong?
You send me a telegram to scram up as fast as I can, and you stand there and ask me, what do I mean, what's wrong?
I sent you no telegram.
No? What do you call this? A pink nightshirt?
Something screwy about this. I didn't send that telegram. I don't like this at all.
I'll bet you Herman sent this for a gag. You know, anything for a laugh.
Yeah? Well, I'm not laughing.
Go on, fellas. Go on. Hey, wait a minute. You can't come in here.
Which one of you guys is Herman?
That's me.
I'm looking for a guy named Bill Redding. Can you tell me where to find him?
How come Bill Redding is so popular all of a sudden? Is he hot?
I wouldn't know about that. Why?
There's a second guy in here today anxious to put the finger on him.
I wouldn't know. A mutual friend of ours told me to look him up when I hit town. Told me you might be able to put me in touch with him. It's very important.
Where you from?
Shy.
I know some of the boys out there. Nice crowd.
Yeah, very nice. Gimpy Lewis has got a proposition for Bill.
I don't believe I know him. But you just missed Bill by a whisker. He was here, but his girl sent for him. He made a quick dash over the region apartments.
That's the way it goes, isn't it? Dame whistles and the guy jumps. Well, I'll see if I can catch Bill up at the region. Oh, I wouldn't like to run into the middle of a brawl. You wouldn't happen to know the number of the apartment, would you?
No. But you'll find the name on the mailbox. Inez Pope.
Thanks. I'll take it from there.
Okay.
Thing's liable to make a hole in your pocket.
you think sent that phony telegram?
I'm afraid I think so. I think so. You can't use that tray. Put it back.
Oh, I forgot.
How could he tie you in with me? How could he know that you hang around that bookmaking joint?
Sure, he couldn't have known that.
You don't know what he knows. He found me once, didn't he? Still, I'm scared. I got a tiger by the tail. I can't hang on and I can't let go. Why didn't you have sense enough to know I wouldn't be sending you any telegrams? Anyone followed you here, it wasn't because he wanted to give me a mink coat.
I'll lay off. How was I supposed to know? I thought you were in the gym and I broke my neck getting here.
Why didn't you just break your neck serious?
Foot's a little too heavy, son.
I'm sorry, officer. I'm on a very important errand. I didn't realize how fast I was going.
It's important to stay alive, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, I can't take a chance on staying here any longer. I've got to move again because of your dummy. I wouldn't play you for show against a field of morons.
Lay off, will you? Okay, so I made a mistake. There's no reason for you getting all steamed up about it.
What do you expect me to do? Give you a great big kiss for being such a stupid baboon?
I'm getting out of here till your blood pressure gets back to normal.
So long since I've had the pleasure. You've been so very elusive.
What are you doing here?
Can't you guess?
No.
A lot of fun for a long time making me dance to your tune. I want that evidence you've been holding over my head.
I haven't got it here. It's where the cops can get it if anything happens to me.
I don't believe you.
I'm telling you the truth. You think I'd be crazy enough to keep it around here?
Yes, I'm quite sure that you would. I was very tired of your unending demands for money, but I felt safe because it was to your advantage to keep quiet. But events have gotten out of hand, and you've become very dangerous to me. I'll not give you much more time to make up your mind. Give me that evidence.
Even if I gave it to you, how do I know you wouldn't kill me?
You don't. That's the only chance you have. Are you ready to talk?
Hey, wait a minute. Who are you looking for?
That's none of your business.
That's what you think. Are you the guy that sent me that phony telegram so you could trail me here?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where is that film?
They're frozen in the ice tray.
It'll feel good to get home and take my shoes off.
Calling car 14. Calling car 14. A couple of guys at the Regent apartment trying to murder each other or something. See what it's all about. That is all.
That's right around the corner. Go ahead.
Hello, Vickers.
How'd you get here? I thought...
Your hoodlums were good enough for the job, Vickers. They just made a couple of mistakes. I heard everything you said on the telephone.
There's the other one.
Oh, you! Come on, Jittle. What's going on here?
Well, Brady, this looks like the end of the line. Oh, here's the blonde we've been looking for.
What do you mean you've been looking for me? I've been here all the time. And furthermore, this ain't Grand Central Station. I'll thank you to get out of my apartment.
You see, she was blackmailing Vickers.
That's utterly fantastic.
You're crazy. I never blackmail nobody.
If you'll search Mr. Vickers, you'll find some interesting photographs that may answer a lot of questions.
Okay, sister, what about this?
Okay, so I was shaking him down. He tried to murder me. He planted that poison aspirin tablet on me.
Well, Brady, is that it?
Yeah, I guess that is it. My hat's off to a first-rate detective. We'll have that young lady out in nothing flat. Take them all down to headquarters. Come on, Kim.
Can't you drive any faster?
I'm doing 80 now.
Well, that seems awfully slow.
They're talking about putting wings on police cars. They haven't got around to it yet.
Anything happened yet?
No, not yet.
Come on, what's going on?
Uh-oh.
Yeah?
Any time now. They get together. Ah, they break. It's a false start.
Oh, let me look at it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah? They're getting together again.
Yeah?
This is it.
Yeah?
Yep. He means business this time.
Oh, let me
Oh,
see
no,
it.
let me...
Come
Oh,
on.
no, wait a minute.
Oh, come on. Will you let me see it?
Oh, boy.
What's more?
There it is.
Say, ain't love wonderful?
You said it. Oh, let me.